Self-defense training, we're going to talk about seek and destroy. One of the basic principles of self-defense that you can use to defend yourself against somebody who's much stronger, somebody who's more experienced, somebody who's faster, younger, doesn't really matter. You're going to employ this basic principle of seek and destroy. We're going to talk about that, and then I'm going to show you some techniques that you can use in this technique, this basic principle of seek and destroy, things that you can do, elbows, hands, knees, maybe a couple of tools that you can use to make this principle work better for you. You have two separate ideas here. One is the principle of self-defense, the other is the technique. You'll always want to keep them separate and train them separately. The first principle of self-defense is going to be situational awareness. Good afternoon, I just saw Garen's here. Self-defense means pay attention to what's happening around you. Number one, situational awareness. First principle of self-defense, pay attention to what's happening around you. If you can see it, get out of there. If you can run, hide, fight, that's what they say. If there's an active shooter or an active situation where you want to get out of there, maybe somebody tried to stab you, pay attention. If you can leave, leave. If you can hide, hide. But if you have to fight, you want to use these basic principles. So the first principle is this situational awareness. Number two, I want you to get into a better position. The better position is always going to be hands up and open between me and you. I want to create some distance. This is called the flinch block. My elbows are mostly extended, but not all the way. There's a bend in there just a little bit, and I want to be behind my hands looking through the hands. My chin is tucked a little bit, my stomach's up and in, abs tight, all those things that you would do in a good position, a good stance here that gives you better protection. Pull one foot back, make yourself a smaller target. So if this is how wide I am, I take my step back, put my hands up between me and you. That's going to be a better position. That's number two, the second of the basic principles of self-defense. Number one, situational awareness. Number two, get in a better position. And number three is seek and destroy. That's what we're here to talk about. Seek and destroy. Another term for it is target acquisition, or finding the targets that you can remove or destroy, vital spots of the body, the eyes, the nose, the mouth, the throat, the soft part of the the midsection right here, the solar plexus coming down between the belly button and the private parts, that thin fascia of muscle that keep your guts in, the joints that are going to break easier than the bones, joints, the ears, boxing the ears, popping those eardrums. They can't hear, they lose that ability to stand up straight, they fall down. Those are just some example of the target that you're going to find, that you're going to destroy, and then after that you'll know how to close with and destroy. You'll know what you're going after, what techniques you're going to use, and that's what we're going to talk about again in just a minute. We're going to try to get there fast. It's kind of what I'm trying to push myself, trying to get there a little bit quicker. So number one, situational awareness. Number two, get in that better position, tuck the chin, take a step back, put the hands up between you and the threat. And if someone puts their hands on you, starts to shake you, you're going to put your hands on them. That's going to stop them from shaking you so much. So you're going to brace yourself here. Your hands go up, tying them up here. It's going to be harder for them to hit you, choke you, do all those things. And then seek and destroy. What are you going to destroy? Their ability to see you, their ability to breathe temporarily or permanently, their ability to hear or to have the balance, stand up. Maybe you go for the head and you go for their ability to be awake. You knock them out, turn off their operating system. Or you go into, they're reaching in and they're trying to grab hold of you, and you can smash into one of those joints and break a joint, their ability to hold on to you. So you're going to ask yourself, what can you remove or destroy? Maybe they're behind you and you can feel them, you can sense them, you can see them. You go right into their groin, right into their private parts, or right into that thin muscle right there. It doesn't even have to be the privates. It can just be a hard fist straight back. And in that position, you're very strong. The ability for them to stand up, you're going to seek. That means target, find a target. And the second part of that is, though, destroy. Destroy means remove, smash, crush, anything you can. Are you going to crush right here? Their ability to breathe permanently. That's the end for them. If you take your elbow and you shove it right in, up in here, this part here, any part of this bone, it doesn't even have to be this. It can be this with a fast strike. It can be an open hand strike, or the elbow can hit, or the whole thing can just come in. I'm going to show you again a few more of those techniques, but I want you to think about, seek it, find, make a decision. Think about the question, what can you remove or destroy? What are your targets? And then go into the destroy part. What are you going to use to destroy that target? What are you going to use to destroy their eyesight, to destroy their nose and the mouth, or pop that eardrum? Is it going to be a boxing to the ears with both hands, maybe both fists, that elbow into the throat or the elbow into the nose? You can hold this hand and take it with the other one, close those hands, and with the bottom of your fist, smash right into somebody who's a lot bigger, a lot stronger. This question specifically came from one of the members here, one of the paying members who's part of this, our virtual dojo, our virtual training school, asked me, he said, I think it was daughter or granddaughter is younger, smaller woman, and she's in an office environment where she's getting abused a little bit, pushed around. People are inappropriate touching, maybe, I think was the question. I was looking for the comment, I couldn't find it. But the basic idea is somebody smaller, somebody in a vulnerable position, and the immediate fear, which is very normal, very common, is that as a woman or as a smaller person, the person who's bigger and more aggressive, they're physically going to be able to do whatever they want because they're stronger than you, they're meaner than you, they're more vicious, they're more violent. But you are going to understand that it's not a competition between body size. It's not a competition against speed. It's not a competition against strength. It is you making a decision to shift your thinking from fighting to destruction. Seek and destroy those targets. You're going to use violence against the violence. You're going to use violence to stop them from putting violence against you. Who knows what their intention are? You probably have an idea that they're going to try to violate you or take your freedom or take your dignity or maybe even take your life. Before that happens, you get in that better position. You ask yourself, what can I remove or destroy? And maybe it's the eyes make the most sense. You take your fingers and you literally stick them right into the face and you squeeze as hard as you can and you claw, just like a wild animal, viciously clawing the eyes out. And that's a very violent thing to do. You can take your thumb, stick both thumbs in and push as hard as you can. If you push against any animal, including the human animal, any animal's eyes, that nasty, disgusting animal who might work late at night and then you're walking out to your car, the guy that jumps you from behind that animal comes in and he's trying to put violence against you, you stick your thumbs right into his eyes. That's the target that you're going to seek and destroy, and you push as hard as you can and you just keep pushing. He has to go back. That any animal can't resist that. That's going to move them back. Or you take that same thumb and you stick it right there, right in that cartilage that's going to crush. When that cartilage crushes, he's not going to survive that. He's going to asphyxiate and die. This is all about self-defense, so it's very violent. But if you make that mental shift from how am I going to protect myself, he's bigger, he's stronger, I can't beat him in a fight, he's going to hurt me, to I'm going to remove, or just I'm going to close with and destroy, but first I have to seek that target. What's my target? His nose, his teeth, his throat, his ears, his eyes, into the solar plexus, down in between the belly button and the private parts. All the soft stuff first. And then second, joints, the top of his foot, his wrist. And sometimes you might work in an office environment. So a lot of school teachers, a lot of people who work in any kind of office will have these markers. School teachers, I was thinking about the dry erase boards, the whiteboards. And so they have those big chunky, they have different brands. I have a bunch of I can't think of what they're called, but you know, those big dry eraser markers, and I think of the Office Depot brand, right? And you take this, Garen says the floating rib. This last rib down here, they call it floating because it's not attached to the sternum like the rest of them are. Or it's not attached to the spine in the back, I think. And so what happens is it comes around, but it's sort of sitting there. You hit that with a fist really hard. Maybe his hands are on you, and you take this hand here, and you come straight in with a fist, or you drive that elbow in because he's much taller, and you drive that elbow, you can't hit his chin, you drive it right into those floating ribs, you break that, stick the tip of it through his lungs, it's coughing up blood, falls on the ground, you run away, you're safe. But that's the basic idea. Seek and destroy. It's a question. The first question is, what am I going to hit? What's his target? What's available to me? What can I see? And you have to ask this question, the seek and destroy question, because there are a lot of different scenarios you might find yourself in. If you have one of these and you put your thumb there, you can now use this tip. And it doesn't have to be metal. It will eventually break under a lot of force if you smash it against a concrete wall, but you're not going against concrete. You're going against that soft tissue right in his throat, straight in, right? And you strike this in, or you bring this around right into his temple, into his ear, into that jaw, somewhere into the neck, all that soft flesh into the neck. Or again, into those ribs, between the ribs. There are those intercostal muscles that hold them together. That'll pierce through one of those. You might not go into the lungs, but you're going to create an incredible amount of pain. But also, in addition to pain, if you hit certain spots, they can't breathe, fight's over, you win for self-defense. That's what this is all about. But you have tools like this if you start to think about, and if you wanted to invest a little money, you can get a fighting pin, which is just a steel pin, or one of those old nice cross pins. Those are made out of steel. That's even more vicious. But you don't need all that. You can have one of these $1.99 Sharpies. You put that in your thumb. You don't feel comfortable. You get into a situation where you immediately are feeling like something might happen to you, and you see it and you pick it up. Now he puts his hand on you. On this hand, you take this one and strike into, there are a lot of nerves there. But it's not just nerves, there are two bones, there's muscle. You strike as hard as you can. A couple times, go into the throat. What I would encourage you to do is not even waste time striking here. Let him have your hand and strike that right into his eyes, right into his temple, right into his jaw, right into his throat, right into his face, into his Adam's apple. Smash right there, and in the fight in your favor, self-defense. It's not about trying to hurt somebody, but if you find yourself in a life or death situation, or they're trying to take your dignity, they're trying to take away from you your freedom, your stuff, give them your stuff. If it's money, give them money. But if it's worse than that, learn how to defend yourself. I saw the article yesterday. Our dear leader up in the White House got a bunch of statements together, and he said that he felt like these catch and release programs with criminals that are going so well in San Francisco and New York City and Chicago, where they have no cash bail. Biden last night said, I think, he was standing there with the Harris woman, and he said, I think we should do this no cash bail for the whole country. Now, I don't know if they can get that passed or not, but if they did, everything's about to get way more violent, because 37 to 50% of those people who are in the no cash bail, who go to jail and then they get right out because they don't have to pay to get out, they go back in 37 to 50%, depending on the city. You go to San Francisco, it's 50%. Go to Chicago, it's 37. So that's why there's a variation. The point is this: things get a lot more dangerous, and they feel a lot more dangerous for a lot of people. But for some people, especially women, especially people who are smaller, it always felt dangerous. So this predates COVID, predates all this craziness we got right now. If you feel like you need to defend yourself, number one, situational awareness, basic principle of self-defense. Number two, get into a better position, hands up and open, put them between you and the threat. And if they hold you or grab your neck, the worst thing you can do is try to back up. If you back up while someone's trying to choke you, that just gives them power to go straight in. If you go straight in when they're trying to choke you, you're going to go through the weakest part of their hands, which is the thumbs, right? And your neck literally does this. All of a sudden you can breathe again. So you're going to come in this way, and then you're going to drive elbows. You're going to grab your own hand, stick this into his throat, stick that into his solar plexus. Turn your palm up like this, with or without a Sharpie, and smash as hard as you can into his face, aggressively, violently. Drive this in, drive those elbows into the head if you can. If he's too tall, go into the ribs. Drop this down, smash him in the solar plexus. If he's taller, smash him lower. Either way, it's going to be effective. The point is that you can defend yourself against a much stronger, much bigger, more aggressive person if you don't make it a competition of speed. It's not a competition of strength. It's not a competition of techniques. You're not doing Taekwondo versus Jiu-Jitsu. You're not doing Wing Chun versus boxing. You're doing your fist against his throat, and you're going to win every time. You're doing this part right here, this elbow, straight in to that throat, right into his mouth. You're bringing this elbow to the jaw. You're bringing this elbow up to the bottom of the jaw. You're bringing this elbow down and over, right into the temple. And if they're too tall, bring that right into the chest. You're still going to make good power, good effect. You're going to hit that sternum, bring it up into that floating rib. If he's too tall, or over, right into the ribs here. But do it again and again and again and again. Smash, smash, smash. Seek and destroy, right? Seek, again, goes back to this idea of what target. It's target acquisition. This is from Tim's book. I'm having a hard time remembering stuff today. My brain's full of everything else. Tim Larkin, thank you. Tim Larkin, When Violence is the Answer. Go read that book. Go to Amazon, read that. I'm going to put a link below. It's not in there now, but I'll put a link in if you watch this a little bit later. Tim Larkin's When Violence is the Answer. Read the book. It's all about target acquisition training. What are you going to target to remove or destroy? And I call it seek and destroy. Close with and destroy and fight like hell, right? Go all in, smashing, hitting everything you can. Once you've made that seek and destroy decision, what am I going to hit on this person? And remember your fingers and your thumbs. Thumbs in the eyes, right? Thumbs in right here in the face, right in the sinuses, right in the throat. Box the ears, right? Make a fist, smash them like this. The air gets forced in really fast, pops the eardrum. They lose that inner ear equilibrium. They can't stand up. They're getting the vertigo. You run out of there, let the cops come and pick them up. But defend yourself. Make a commitment to yourself to learn the principles of self-defense and then practice basic techniques. If there's someone behind you and they're here and their hands are on your neck, put your elbow higher than his hands and turn. And I know I don't have anybody to just demonstrate it. We'll get together, we'll do this in person. I want you to see how powerful this is. But just by lifting your elbow up over the arm and turn back, extend it, smash him in his head. But this elbow, that's gonna rip his hands right off of you. If you go under, it's gonna choke you more. So you go up and you smash him. If he's behind you, all is not lost. If you have your Sharpie, stick that right in his groin. But go down and back. You don't need a Sharpie. Make a tight fist and don't just do one strike. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 strikes, 6 strikes. You'll start to feel him let go a little bit. Step away if you can. Then grab your own hand and then start to drive it here. And then aim it up at his throat. And then turn and face him, smash. And then elbows. And then in again. And the fight's not over till you win. Step on the top of his foot. Break his foot, especially if you're wearing hard-soled shoes. But fight like hell. Don't give up. Seek and destroy, that's the principle again. Like I said, I'm going to do all of these principle videos again and again and again. I'm going to get better at it. I want to get smoother. I want you to really understand. Hey, Doug, it's good to see you. I want you to understand these principles are far more valuable than techniques. But every time we talk about a principle, I'm going to throw in some techniques so you have something to practice. One without the other doesn't work. Principles are great, but you have to have techniques too. Richard, good to see you. I'll see everybody in a little bit. Thank you. We'll do another one of these today.